Coach, when you're settled, just an opening statement.
Well, credit to SLU. I thought, I won't say either team played extraordinarily well, but credit to them for executing the final 3.5, 4 minutes of the game. That was the game. Um, they did a good job. They got shots or they got to the foul line and we turned the ball over. We couldn't even get a shot. So, taking care of the ball, our three goals of the game, which I'm really disappointed in. Number one is take care of the basketball. And we didn't do that. 25 turnovers might be close to a season high this season at home. So that's number one. And number two, our offensive rebounding. Our rebounding was abhorrent. We didn't get one in the second half, not one. So that was bad. And then, third, they were supposed to play today, like their life depended on it. And I thought they did that for 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, they caved, they folded. And our execution was really, really poor. So, that was the game. But credit to SLU for being able to execute down the stretch. It was a flip. When we were at SLU, we executed. They came here and they executed. So credit to them.
Open up to questions for Coach.
Was there a common thread on those turnovers? Was it feel like you were same kind of thing, or was it just a combination of things?
No, I think our kids didn't handle. I mean, when you're a guard and you get picked consistently, that's just you're not ready for the getting in you, and you got to be ready. You got to be a warrior. You got to know how to protect the ball. I mean, we had turnovers like on outlets. I think we had 5 turnovers today on outlets alone, and so you got to play better basketball than that. And it's not like we don't go over it. It's not like we've had problems with that, and just no composure, no moxie at the end. So turnovers came in a bulk of ways, but our point guards, they really turned the ball over. You can't have that many turnovers as a guard, and there was a couple of them. I think Sophie V had 5 in 16 minutes. Dee has 4. You got to take better care of the basketball, especially when you got the ball in your hands.
Going into a very important late stretch of the season, the nature in which kind of the fourth quarter slipped away from you, how much does that concern you? I mean, you have a very big stretch coming up.
Well, it concerns me where I thought we had the game in hand. The whole game, I thought we were in control of the game. And so, execution at the end, it always concerns me with free throw shooting and late game execution, not turning the ball over, getting good shots. And again, not having Tisha where she's our go-to at the end from a guard position, and opens things up for us. But, it's concerning to the fact that we couldn't execute at home in the last 4 minutes. But again, taking care of the ball, it's a big thing.
You'd mentioned, beforehand that some of these games can sort of shake players' mentality, and at some points took a while to get that back. Do you worry at all about this being one of those times, or what is your plan to address that in practice?
Again, you got to work. We got to work on it. It's every day. You got to get better at something. But the thing with us is we continue to make the same mistakes. It's like I say, it's insanity. It's like expecting a different result, but you do the same things every day. And so I did think we had 2 good days of practice. They competed. So their morale is good. But again, the mistakes in games, the same mistakes over and over, those are what we have to correct. We really do. And if we want to make a run in the A10 tournament and we want to start getting some momentum, you've got to correct those. In game situations, you've got to be ready for that. And today we weren't. The last one we didn't. Again, our screening was abhorrent at the end. They were switching everything, and we didn't screen our own man. Which the first one, all right, you don't know that, but the second play, we didn't screen our own man. We went to look to find, and they were switching everything. So we never got on the second play who we wanted to shoot the ball, which was Sophie P. So kudos to them, but we didn't execute. We had a freshman in who didn't quite know the play and went out and ran something different. So that kind of threw us for a loop as well. But again, you got to get shots at the end of the game, and you got to know how to execute. And unless you go over it a lot with this group, they struggle sometimes to be able to read different things. So the end was just you got to understand they're switching, go out and screen your own man. I think, we did what we do in the first three quarters. We were playing at pace. We got defensive stops so we could run. We could, get out. And the second half, last 4 minutes, I don't think we got to stop. We're giving up and ones, we're giving up O boards for threes. Like, those are things that you must close out at end of games. I mean, you guys know that. And so we really didn't execute in the last 4 minutes at all. Not offensively, we didn't get shots. Not defensively, we couldn't get stops. And even when we did get a stop, we gave up no board. So, that will get you. That's tough.
Talk about how you sort of make the same repeated mistakes. Do you learn anything new from something like this that you sort of haven't already known about? Sometimes the struggles with execution down the stretch.
No, that today wasn't anything new. That's something that, unlike, prior last year's team or the year before, they struggle to get quality shots at end of games, especially when, we're a man down, an important man like Tisha. That's a real go-to at the end of games. We run a lot through her, and it also frees Sophie P up a little bit more. So, until we get her back, it's good experience for these other kids to learn that, listen, some of you others, time to step up. You got to be able to execute. But it's nothing that we didn't already know with this team.
With 5 players scored double digits, despite the loss, is that something?
Well, I thought today we did a good job. They shared the ball, especially the first three quarters. They really shared the ball, and we had a bunch of different people score, and I like that. Whereas, we've had problems scoring before, so 73 for us is a good day. It really is. Last game we scored 49, but to give up what we gave up, and it was baffling because I think we were changing zone and man a lot this game. And it worked the first three quarters. And for whatever reason, in the second half, it confused our kids more than it confused St. Louis. Like, there would be times we were in man 5, and they'd run back, and half of them would be in zone. So, things like that. Again, you've got to be locked in, really, really locked in. But I was happy with the offensive distribution of a lot of different people scored today.
You need more from guards,
I think, leadership, people that have been here, it's not going to come from the freshmen. It may not even come from the newbies like Dee and Tisha, who, have not been in this culture, but it's got to be demanded from the 3 captains. Like, people that have been in the program, the expectation, and what it takes to win. And so you have to demand that, hold your teammates accountable, and kind of help them, uplift them. And so, sometimes when our leadership struggles personally in games, or it's hard for them to lead, and that's a growth thing. It really is. So, it's got to come from the seniority, from the kids that have been in the program.
Final questions for Coach? All set. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next weekend.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, John. Thank you.